Chair Pro Temp for the meeting, Alyssa Murray. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so for the next item, Alyssa will take us through it, and then once we get through the oaths and have a president, then the president will take over the meeting. All right, so thank you to Mr. Pettigrew for joining us this evening. He is going to be our oath administrator.
Yay.
Sure. Okay. So the first oath will be the superintendent of schools, Christine Thomas.
Christine, raise your right hand. I, Christine Tona,
I, Christine Tona,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of Superintendent of Schools of the Mahopac Central School District
of Superintendent of Schools of the Mahopac Central School District
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Sam.
You want to sign the oath, bud?
Oh. I'll bring a pen.
I happen to have one.
Next will be trustee Kyle Potter.
Kyle, raise your right hand. I, Kyle Potter,
I, Kyle Potter,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the State of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and will faithfully execute,
and will faithfully
faithfully discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of trustee of the Mahopac Central School District
of trustee of the Mahopac Central School District
for the period July 1, 2025
for the period July 1, 2025
through June 30, 2028,
through June 30, 2028,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Got a sign.
Sign.
Next will be trustee Nicole Iacona.
Yes. Nicole, raise your right hand. I, Nicole Iacona,
I, Nicole Iacona,
will support the Constitution of the United States
will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of trustee of the Mahopac Central School District
of the office of trustee of the Mahopac Central School District
for the period July 1, 2025
for the period July 1, 2025
through June 30, 2028,
through June 30, 2028,
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then next will be trustee Lucy Masaka.
I just want to turn around.
What?
You want me to come here?
You come here. Okay. Please raise your right hand. I, Lucy Masafra,
I, Lucy Masafra,
will support the Constitution of the United States
will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of trustee
of the office of trustee
of the Mahopac Central School District
of the Mahopac Central School District
for the period July 1, 2025
for the period July 1, 2025
through June 30, 2028.
through June 30, 2028.
Congratulations.
And I just want to jump in before we move on and acknowledge two of our student board members are here with us tonight, Matthew Pinelli and Sullivan Hunter. So welcome. They will each be sworn in.
Okay, because I just wanted to say something before he actually spoke. Can we do that?
Um,
Can we
Usually
remember
we
the
do that.
process? I'm sorry?
Usually, we've done that before the motion.
Okay.
She should be able to.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say that usually when you make the motion, then you're able to make comments of why I'm nominating this individual.
Sure.
So, I just wanna say I want to nominate Michael Mongan for president of the Mahopac School Board. Mike is an alumni of Mahopac Schools and a longtime resident of Mahopac. I had the pleasure of serving on the board with Mike as a prior board president and trustee in my prior term. He's an outstanding leader who has integrity, a commitment to excellence, and a perspective shaped by meaningful experiences. As a dedicated member of this board, he consistently shows up prepared, offering informed, thoughtful input, and demonstrating a deep understanding of the challenges facing our schools. His unwavering dedication to our students, families, teachers, and district staff is evident in everything he does. It has been said, Mike bleeds blue and gold. As we look ahead to the challenges and opportunities facing our districts, I believe we need a president who could bring both experience and vision. Someone who can unify this board, work collaboratively with administration, and keep student achievement and community needs at the center of decisions. It is with great pride and confidence I nominate Mike to be the next Mahopac School Board President.
Thank you, Lucy, I appreciate that.
So I'll defer to Mike if you want to go first with your opening statement.
Oh, okay. I guess this is, it's been a lot of years on the school board over here. Rose through the chairs, came on with Lucy and Mike Kazari back in 2016. Learned a lot, thought I was gonna come in here and be able to, change the world, turn the hands of time back to the 70s, I'm just carbon dating myself and I apologize. But did a lot of good things. One of the architects of the $54 million school bond that went through for the upgrades to the facilities and to the athletic fields and our music and our performing arts pieces. Really took a lot of great pride in doing that. As we wind down for punch list items right now, it's actually pretty, we're actually very proud of what we've been able to accomplish. I didn't run 1 year when I had the opportunity to rerun. My father was not doing well. I felt that I needed to take some time off to rededicate myself to his well-being, and thought that we would be on a path for recovery, and it didn't go that way. It went the opposite way, and we lost Dad a couple of years back. Did serve as vice president and president. Presidency was difficult. It was in COVID. We had to learn to do everything totally opposite of what we would have liked to have done. We had to figure out how to Zoom. We had to figure out how to do Zoom meetings. We had to figure out how to get people like Chris Harrigan in on a Zoom, and the public in a safe manner, in a respective manner. And I think we were able to do that. Was it ideal to be president during those two years during COVID? It wasn't. It was very challenging and very difficult and very frustrating. I did learn quite a bit from that experience. It was a humbling experience. Right now, Lucy, and thank you for those kind words, this is a very humbling experience. And I look forward to kind of looking back to a few months ago when we had a wonderful retreat over at BOCES, and I'm looking forward to, maybe turning back those hands of time a little bit, and look forward to the opportunity to serve this board and more importantly our community. So I appreciate the kind words, Lucy. Thank you.
Jen, do you have any opening statement?
I do. I have some notes, so I'll kind of go off of that. So I appreciate everyone giving me the opportunity to just listen, and I realize that this is only my second year on the board, and I understand if there are concerns with my experience in terms of being on the board. So I do acknowledge that. I will say that I have 2 master's degrees in public education, and I work every day in a public education school. I am a CSE chairperson, and I facilitate collaborative decision making amongst educators, parents, and administrators especially. my strengths. But I think it is important to acknowledge that we have a board that has a lot of different opinions. And I realize in a leadership role, things are not always going to go the way that I would like for them to go. But the idea is we go with the will of the board and whatever the majority of the board is. And that includes this vote for president. So over the past year, I've attended multiple conferences, both based on my educational background for work and also for the board as well. I've taken online training courses to better understand the finances of a board, and also I went to the NISBA conference, and that was a fantastic experience. I do recommend any board member who has availability, please go this October. I've lived in Mahopac my entire life. My parents lived in Mahopac their whole time growing up. My grandparents were in Mahopac, so I love this community, and I'm deeply rooted within this community. I am a mother of 2 children who currently, one's in the middle school and one's going on in the high school, which is ridiculous. I'm a Lakeview family, so I love Lakeview. I also attended Austin Road, and I really see the beauty within our educational system here. I feel that I'm an independent voice. I'm not related to or married to any district employee, and it allows me to lead without conflicts of interest or undue influence. I'm really organized. I'm an efficient professional who knows how to run meetings, manage time, and keep work moving productively. I'm a strong advocate. I'm passionate and articulate for what's best for our students, educators, and families. And I always try to be informed by facts and listen to all opinions. And I realize we can sometimes get stuck hearing our own thoughts, but it's important to really focus on other people as well. And collaboration and board development, I really think that we need to work as a board to get back to being collaborative, even when we disagree, to have respectful, healthy discussions. And I do want to continue to have retreats. I agree with you, Mike. I think that was extremely helpful. And I think we should continue doing that as a board. So I am ready to lead. I've served for a year, and I realize that maybe not, Mike, I respect you for the time that you have put in on this board, and thank you for your service to the community. And I would just like the opportunity to also serve my community in a different way. Thank you.
Okay, so now the floor will be open for questions from board members. You can give direct questions to a specific nominee or broad questions to apply to all nominees. If the nominee wishes to respond, they're given 2 minutes for each answer. Any questions?
I always have questions. All right, this is for Mr. Mike Mongan. Leadership for 500. This is the 3rd time you would be president, right?
Second.
It's not the 3rd year? The 3rd year, I'm sorry. The 3rd year you would be president. So what have you learned from the past, and what changes in leadership style would you employ going forward?
Biggest thing I learned was to be a lot more open to community involvement, and I thought bringing the community to our committee meetings was a game changer. There's a lot of buy-in now. I didn't feel like that in the past. I felt like things needed to be held closer to the vest. So I feel like it's a lot more of an opportunity for folks to engage, for the community to engage. I mean, I've always been very open, staying after board meetings, always see me at athletic events and other events. Do the local live feeds for girls basketball along with Knucklehead over there, but we have a lot of fun doing that. But I'm a community-minded person. I think I learned quite a bit over all the years on the board with all the different personalities. And the one thing we have to do is we have to put the lines in the sand. We have to erase those, and we have to really be able to step across and work together collaboratively. And I think that's really something that we, as Trustee Travis said, that's really something that we have to work on. And I think we've done a really good job. I think we've done a better job now that the community is a lot more involved in our meetings, in our discussions. I hear the community a lot more on topics and have no problem bringing them to the board. So I think there's just a lot more, for me, there'll be a lot more collaboration. I think we have to get back to having fun. I mean, the one year that we had a nice little picnic down at Sycamore. I think I actually made some pretty good hamburgers down there. But I think we have to do more of those things where we're not really discussing board business more than we're enjoying each other's company and really diving into some of the minutia of family life in Mahopac, what it's like to be what's it like to be out on the road, what it's like to be out from your parents' wing. Between Lynn and I, we have 6 kids, we have 4 grandchildren, so I'm really starting to get that second realm of where our children are going to be in that kindergarten, first grade, second grade, UPK. So I have a little bit more of an understanding with that, but just look really forward to just kind of bringing it all together. I've been the president of several associations, Professional Grounds Management Society, Rutgers. I was the president of Rutgers alumni, so I have a lot of good experience running larger organizations, and look forward to the opportunity. But that's really what I learned, Ben, from the last really 8 years, is really to try to just bring people together and really embrace what the public is saying, because we are extensions of the public. Yeah, we put our name on a lawn sign and we go there, but we're extensions of them, and they have a lot of skin in the game. And I think the one thing I think I've been able to do is really embrace that and bring it here where it's needed. And and I've been very passionate about the community and what they bring and what their needs are. So thank you.
Any other questions?
Can I ask another one? Okay. So, you mentioned the community multiple times, so I'm assuming you are talking about the parents and the adults. In terms of the students, I'll rephrase this. We're here for children and the education of children. What do you see as the most and we have 2 exemplary students here. What do you see as the most positive aspect of our student body?
Well, it's diverse. We have a robust athletic department. We have a very robust athletic component. We have a very robust music component. We have a very robust performing arts component, and then we have people that are involved, kids that are getting involved in clubs and so on and so forth. And I think I tell you, the diversity is what really strikes me, and I think we've been able to.
Right.
And I think what we've really been able to do here is I think we've done a nice job. What I've seen from the classes the last several years is I reel on how closely. I guess the classes are much smaller than when I went to school. When I went to school, we had 550 kids graduating from high school. So I was pretty happy to know a good portion of them. But over here, I noticed that on the smaller classes, there's a little bit more of an intimate opportunity. I see a lot more kids that know a lot more people across the ways. So athletics knows people that are in music knows people that are in performing arts, and I see this camaraderie between the students, and it was evident even at the last graduation. I mean, it was the first year since COVID that I remember that the graduates were walking up and making eye contact. They were making eye contact, and and I was getting firm handshakes. And that really struck me, because I think that means a lot as far as just how difficult it was to navigate through COVID. And now I'm starting to see some emergence of that, and I just think we have to keep that going. But the one thing that's always struck me is how close, like even on a Friday night, football game here at Mahopac, when the kids sing the national anthem, it always brings goosebumps to me, because those aren't just the athletic kids. Those are your mainstream kids. Those are your performing arts kids. Those are your music kids that are out there giving it all. So I see this camaraderie that I really enjoy and want to keep that going.
Can I ask just one question, and I'm going to ask both candidates? With regard to academics, we're looking forward, what is the
think, I think what Trustee McCracken has echoed the last, since he came on the board during COVID, because we did Zoom meetings before we could even see him. But I think that financial literacy is more evident than ever. And it has to be something that's got a higher priority than it does right now. And the other thing is something that we've been asking for a lot of years now is cell phone policy, electrical device policy. You know, I just think it's over the top. I think that we have to give our teachers, our administrators, I think we have to give them a break. The kids need a break. You know, there's just, you know, I don't want to see kids, you know, walking through hallways with their heads buried in the phone. I want them to see people smiling. I want them to see, you know, a classmate that might be down. I want them to see a teacher acknowledge a teacher. And I just think we've gotten, you know, it's just way over the top now. And I hope we can get it back. I hope they can see value of putting your cell phone down, of closing the computer, and having a lot more of this. And I'm more encouraged than ever with, you know, with at least the beginnings of the cell phone policy. But, you know, again, what we've been asking for, the financial literacy component, which is absolutely amazing, and I think having it as a graduation requirement is paramount for kids leaving here, just as much as reading apprehension in that 6th grade level when you're coming into the middle school. Man, you got to know how to read. You'll just stay right behind. You'll just stay right where you are. You'll always be behind the 8 ball. So we really have to dive into this the reading program and even the math program, because that's going to help with financial literacy. So I think there's a lot of work to do here, but I'm encouraged by the fact that we're at least going to start with some type of a policy that will limit a child picking up a phone or texting somebody in the middle of class, so that teacher has an undivided attention from the student and then to the teacher. There's nothing more disruptive than somebody that's talking or operating an electronic device while you're in the middle of the lecture trying to make a point. And I just think that's going to be a nice day when we can say that. And I think the kids will really see value in not having the reliance on the cell phones.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. As far as curriculum goes, where do you see us going next? And what we're going to work on now? I know Mike mentioned financial literacy, but moving forward, what do you think we should be working on, and how do we differentiate that? Because I don't think we're getting that piece that we can't just have one program.
Correct. So, thank you. I think this is a really important question, and Matthew Lawrence has been doing some excellent work in curriculum, especially over the last year. And he's currently working on creating a curriculum map, which makes it accessible for parents to see. When I think about our students learning and accessing the curriculum, I think all the way down to starting UPK. We just are finishing up our first year of UPK. And I know from my own district, I'm now on year 2, and I'm looking at that data from the students who attended UPK, and I'm comparing it to previous years, those incoming kindergartners, about their readiness skills and how they're performing, and I think that makes a huge difference. It is incredibly difficult for young children to be able to gain some of these concepts. It's not developmentally appropriate to be reading in kindergarten, but we ask students to do it anyway. And those are still the expectations. So we do want to focus on learning how to be a student in UPK, and learning how to sit your seat and write your name, and just be able to share. And then when they do come into kindergarten, we don't have to spend quite as much time learning to be a student, and we can work on more of the basic foundational pieces of literacy that are needed. And many of our math programs are also very language heavy. So we need to focus on making sure that their literacy skills are well developed, because that's going to go all the way up the ladder until their senior year of high school. So they need the phonemic awareness as they're in kindergarten and 1st grade, and they need to be working on those reading comprehension skills in 2nd and 3rd. And as they move on, they move from learning to read to reading to learn, because you can't learn these other complex tasks if you're still sounding out words and haven't been able to learn those building blocks. So I think the introductions of the foundations curriculum is excellent that we're getting that for next year. It's not the only tool in the toolkit. I think it's important for elementary to also focus on the other phonemic parts of it, and having integrity, and working on different curriculums that are important for different students. Also focusing on our academic intervention services and our MTSS processes, because that's going to make the difference. Good interventions prevent over-referrals to special education and over-identification. It also leaves kids feeling supported, and it'll improve our overall test scores as well. So we're really focused on the younger generations and making sure those grades are getting the foundational skills. As they move up from the middle school, they can focus on just learning, the math and the science that they need to, because they're no longer worried about how to read. And then when they go into high school, I think it's excellent to have the financial literacy program. We have a strategic plan that outlines that as well, and I fully support that. And I do think it should be something that should be a graduation requirement as we go forward.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Debbie. Those are great answers. Appreciate it.
Any other questions?
I don't, can I just make a comment from both? I guess I can phrase the question, but I just wanted to thank both of you for stepping up. For those that haven't been on the board the past year, Jenny has stepped up multiple times to head projects and things like that. So I think it's important for the new board members to know that she's been very active this year. And I just wanted to say, Mike, I dealt with Trustee Mongan as a community member, and when he was president during COVID lockdowns, he was the one person that really connected with me, and it was kind of a very hopeless situation for a lot of parents, but I never left one of those meetings feel like there was no hope. And I think Mike was just a great listener, and I thank you for during that time. It was extremely tough. So I thank you for at least hearing us and hearing the concerns.
Thank you.
Any more questions, comments? Now, if the nominees would like to give a closing statement, you're welcome to, and if you do, Trustee Travis will start first, and then Trustee Mongan.
Okay, I'm not gonna go into a long-winded response. I've kind of pled my case, and whatever is, and I'm just grateful that everyone has listened and given me the opportunity to speak, so thank you.
Second time's a charm. So, would appreciate your support.
So, yeah, I believe roll call.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so start with Trustee Mongan, work our way around.
I guess I'll vote for myself.
Well, so,
You want the candidate? You want to-
yes, either or, yeah, we're saying it, yes.
Mike.
Trustee Travis.
Okay.
Me.
Okay.
Be weird if they didn't.
Can I abstain? Dan?
You can,
I'd like to abstain.
you can abstain.
Ms. Travis.
I would vote for Trustee Mongan.
Four votes for Trustee Mongan and 3 votes for Trustee Travis. So,
Yeah, 5 votes for Mongan.
No, fine.
sorry, 1, 2, 3, no, sorry.
Congratulations, Mike.
Sorry. 4 to 3.
All right,
Sorry,
Alyssa.
yeah. It's been a long day. Okay.
Congratulations, President Mongan.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Seat, so you're here, now you're gonna be.
I got a minute to
Okay,
go on.
okay, good.
Huh?
Yes, we're gonna be okay, all right?
It's 11 already. Dan, what
And
did
don't
you do
forget
there?
to sign the book.
I got the book here. See if I can figure it out. Come over here, sir. Raise your right hand. I, Michael Mongan,
I, Michael Mongan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the
That I-
United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of President
of the office of President
of the Board of Education of the Mahopac Central School
of the
District
Board of Education of the Mahopac Central School District,
according to the best of my abilities
according to the best of my abilities,
for the 2025-2026 school year.
for the 2025-2026 school year.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. the floor for nominations for vice president.
I'd like to nominate Lucy Masakura for vice president. So I would like to just say, for those that don't know, Lucy Masakura has previously been a board member for many years. During her time on the board, she was a founding member of SEPTO. And as vice president, I think she would bring much needed history of historical perspective that we have on the board, and much needed knowledge to us. In terms of experience, we have a very new board. So I think we would greatly benefit from all the knowledge that she has. While previously on the board and also as a member of the public, she always asked the tough questions. And she fought for tough budget questions, and she always fought for greater transparency in our budget. I know that Lucy supports our students, and I know that she will advocate for fiscal responsibility, and I know that she can balance the community needs with what is best for our students. So I hereby nominate, my nomination will be Lucy Masakura for vice president.
What you?
Okay,
I'd
go.
like to nominate Jennifer Travis.
Okay.
I think that, and I'm going to say something this time, I think that Jen picked up the ball, as I think you said, or Chris, you said a few times, and I know there was one meeting where we had every person, even future members, and she stepped up and was leading above all when we sat there without people. And I have to say I appreciate it, and I saw a lot of accomplishment that evening and those times, and we started to move forward. I think that we cannot go back to the way things were. I think that she knows the way things should be going forward.
Thank you. So I won't reiterate everything I said before. I would love,
Oh, sorry.
I would love the opportunity to work with you, Mike, and, I do have flexibility in my schedule to try to help out, where you can, especially during the summers, I'm a little bit more flexible, I still work, but that's a little bit different, and I can be out of work sooner. So I would love to be a team with you and be able to be a support to you, and any questions?
Let's see, do we have any other nominations from the floor? Anyone else? Okay, all right, so who's gonna speak first? I think it's, or you just want questions. Okay, so do we have any questions for Lucy or Jennifer?
It's open, it's,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and it's in the order they were nominated.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I apologize.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, thanks. Thanks, Dan.
So Chris, thank you for your nomination and support. As you mentioned, I am a returning board member, re-elected this year. I remain committed to serving our students, our staff, families, and community with dedication and integrity. Also alumni of the district. I'm a resident of over 40 years, a mother of 3 children that graduated from Mahopac schools, and a taxpayer. I bring a deep personal investment in the success of our schools. I have served on various board committees and consistently approach my responsibilities with care and thoughtfulness. I believe asking questions and reviewing facts and data before making decisions is essential to being an effective board member, and especially important to the role of vice president. And I thank you for your confidence in me and continued support.
Okay, thank you, Lucy. Jennifer, you can.
Which question?
Oh, questions, okay, I'm sorry. Questions? Yeah,
I don't.
You don't have anything to add,
No.
okay. Okay, questions for the candidates?
I just want to say something about Jennifer, so it's more of a comment, and a question. I just want to echo what Chris said and what Lisa said. I think we had some kind of shocking events where our president resigned in March, and it's a situation where we needed people to step up, and Jen definitely did that. We did have interview for candidates, and she stepped up and moderated that very well. I think the fact that she has an educational background is important and not biased, and she definitely obviously adamant about a line-by-line budget, and you've advocated very strongly for the zero tax account. So your financial focus is very, very clear. What academic goals, even if you want to look at, we adopted a strategic plan back in November of 2023, which I think was strong. Would you support? What would you support? What do you think is the most important thing that our students need to focus on as a whole?
So since I've been on the board, we eliminated our business department many years ago. And every time I brought that up, I was told that students are taught Excel and Word and PowerPoint and various courses such as history, or maybe in chemistry class. And many times when we talk to students that graduate, my own children, they call me and say, oh, I didn't know how to do this Excel project. Can you help me? And my frustration always was, I was told you were taught this, and they would be told no, that we were told go onto YouTube and figure it out. And that was always upsetting to me. So I think we need to go back to having a business department of some sort, in addition to the fiscal literacy, because most of our students go to school and work in business. That's the world we're in today. And then I also feel that our early grades, our teachers need more support. We want to see our students succeed, and we possibly need to invest in having more teachers' assistants in the early years, in kindergarten, first grade, and second grade. To really build a strong foundation, we need children that can read properly, do arithmetic properly, have phonics, understanding, so that when they get to the later years, they have a strong foundation and they can expand their ability to learn.
Okay, so I have one. This is a tougher one, so you can ask the tough question. In this round of this election, the National Political Party was involved in supporting candidates, which in my time being aware of anything is unprecedented. With their support and the resources that they put behind you and the other candidates, do you feel obligated or obliged to carry out any wishes that they may have, any agendas that they may have, whether it's specific, from specific individuals or from the National Association?
So we're all individuals, and we have a common goal to make sure educate our children, and that's what the goal is.
You're not answering the question.
That's my answer to your question. We're all here to educate the children, and that's what the party, whoever got this, wants us to do, is educate our children. That's all it is.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, the nominees, the nominees will be given up to 5 minutes for closing statements. Nominees' closing statements will be given in the opposite order. Their opening statements were given in.
I work on that order.
You went out of order, so, but you can.
We'll forgive you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lucy, go ahead.
I just want to say I appreciate the nomination, and I will do my best to support this board and to support Mike and the best of his abilities. Thank you.
So, thank you, Lisa, I appreciate the nomination, and it is something that I truly enjoy serving our community, and I look forward to continuing that service, whether it be as a trustee or as a vice president. I am very grateful for this opportunity, and it's not lost on me that I was elected for this position. People have asked me to do this, and I understand what an important role this is. So, thank you, I appreciate it, I hope I get to work with you. If not, I'm still going to be here for you for whatever you need.
Thank you very much. Okay, all right, so with that said, so we finished that portion of it, so Alyssa, let's do a roll call vote, please.
Sure, opposite way, trustee Harrigan,
Trustee Masafra.
Potter,
Lucy.
Trustee Travis.
Trustee Masafra.
trustee Hines,
Trustee Masafra.
Trustee Travis.
I'll put her name.
Trustee Musafir.
Trust themselves.
Zafra is vice president.
your right hand.
Oh, yeah, sure. Just pop over.
I, Lucy Masafra,
I, Lucy Safra,
No, I'll pop over
do
one.
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New York,
of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of office of Vice President
of office of Vice President
of the Board of Education
of the Board of Education
of the Mahopac Central School
of the
District
Mahopac Central School District,
according to the best of my abilities
according to the best of my ability,
for the 2025-2026 school year.
for the 2025-26 school year.
Congratulations.
Just taking a bio break.
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, no problem.
She lost half.
I think it just restarted.
Wow.
Like it wasn't enough to make it fully go out.
That was a good shot.
That was intense.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Of course.
I'm not able to use the mouse. It's not. Lucy?
Ah,
Isn't that tonight?
of course.
We scooted.
I didn't realize that.
There was some scooching.
There's some scooching in the back.
Here we go.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Balls? Oh, Violet, oh, I'm good right now. Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Where's the zucchini?
Zucchini.
You came hungry?
You want
It's
zucchini
finally
pizza?
getting out. It's like,
I don't know,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
grab
order
some
some,
water.
that's Dean's favorite, zucchini pizza. Have it at the next policy meeting, Gwen.
Okay. So now we're going to move into our public hearings. Notice is hereby given that the two public hearings will be held on July 1st, 2025 or about 6:30 p.m. at the Mahopac Central School District at the Mahopac Falls School, 100 Myrtle Avenue, Mahopac, New York, for public commentary on the Board of Education adopting resolutions that modify the existing code of conduct pursuant to 2801 of the Education Law and District-wide Safety Plan
The stream is back up.
I live right down the road, my husband, we lost power at my house too.
Oh, is it a generator here?
There must be, he said it's still out at my house, but I have a generator at mine too, but it's running right now.
There's a generator.
Oh, is it a gas generator?
This one is former.
I don't know how it goes up to school. Oh, no, I think that- oh, because this is where the computer things are, right?
I didn't finish, I was so close. I'll just go real quick, okay. Notice is hereby given, that we're good, staff, we're good? Notice is hereby given that the 2 public hearings will be held on July 1st, 2025 on or about 6:30 p.m. at the Mahopac Central School District at the Mahopac Falls School, 100 Myrtle Avenue, Mahopac, New York, for public commentary on the Board of Education adopting resolutions that modify the existing Code of Conduct pursuant to 2801 of the Education Law and the district-wide safety plan pursuant to 2801A of the Education Law. Christine, back to you for a presentation.
All right, so annually, we need to present these 2 items of code of conduct and the district-wide safety plan to the Board of Education. It is a public hearing, so the information will be available to the public to comment on for the next 30 days, and at the August 4 meeting, the board would hope to potentially adopt these 2 items in time for us to start the new school year. So we have a presentation, and we have Troy Belieu here, our Administrator for Safety, Security, and Compliance. So I turn it over to Troy. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. So as Ms. Tony said, on a yearly basis, we do a review of our code of conduct as well as our district-wide safety plan. We're going to focus on the code of conduct first. We had a committee of students, staff members, including teachers, clinicians, and administrators review the code of conduct. And I'm going to take you through some of the updates that we have. And as it was said, there'll be a 30-day period for the public to review and comment. And we're going to close it on August 4th. Hopefully then we can share it with the board during the August 5th meeting. So the next slide. So what we did here was I captured the changes in red that we made to the code of conduct. And again, this is draft form, open for public comment. And the committee reviewed this and we captured their input. And you'll see that for definitions, there was an update that was suggested, as well as for student rights and responsibilities. And when it came to essential partners, we wanted to add in number 14, where on an annual basis, we're looking for parents to update their contact information, address, and emergency contacts. And we have a plan in place for that starting this August. Next slide. We then move on to the next slide, and the committee felt that we needed to expand upon teachers as essential partners to include teacher assistants, teaching assistants, and teaching aides. As you go through this, we saw that number 7 was repetitive with number 1, so we struck that. And we felt that it was important to add number 11, which is a policy that allows us to immediately report any violence, threats, or that nature to our principal, superintendent, or their designee. You'll see that with letter C, we decided to capture clinicians as well as counselors. And then there was a few other additions there, as well as number 11 repeated again that we had for teachers, same with counselors. Next slide. The committee felt that under essential partners with principals, we wanted to capture number 12, which highlights our CSTAG process when it comes to threat assessments. We had a triage team in each of the buildings consisting of a SRO, an administrator, and a clinician. And so we wanted to make sure that we had that so that they knew to notify that. Same with E, superintendent. And then letter F, a piece there for the board. When it came to student dress code, it was more, you'll see that we reviewed the actual policy, you'll see the stripes in red. It was more about use of wording updates. Next slide, please. Moving on to student dress code, we felt that number 2 was repetitive as number 3. The committee wanted to remove, start to kind of update some of the terminology. So instead of underwear in the policy, we thought undergarments, things of that nature. We wanted to add being sent home as well, because that will sometimes happen but wasn't captured in the policy. And then with the prohibited student conduct, we wanted to include both during and after school hours. And then adding in school suspensions with skipping detention. Next piece. Continuing with prohibited student conduct, we added social repercussions. And then with number 13, we want to expand upon illegal substances a bit to include a lot of the synthetic drugs that we're seeing in our gas stations and in our smoke shops throughout the county. And so you'll see that that is something, a piece that we're actually going to focus on this year as we move into the 25-26 year, educating everybody on what these illegal substances are, known as designer drugs. You'll also see that with cheating, we wanted to also include artificial intelligence unless permitted under teacher direction. And then there was some usage, some word usage that we wanted to change. Moving on to the next slide. Disciplinary penalties, we wanted to include, instead of saying it's a school counselor, it's now, instead of saying guidance counselors, we want to say school counselors. There is a guidance office that we have that's termed that way, but we also wanted to kind of rope in the assistant principals, social workers, and psychologists. We also wanted to strike marijuana because it comes in many forms, and we wanted to have it as a THC-based substance. We also, under the athletic code and curricular, we wanted to add nicotine gum and pouches in addition to what was said. And you'll see that as you scroll down, number 3, we wanted to capture legal drugs as well. Because as we know, certain quantities of marijuana is considered legal in New York State. So we wanted to make sure that it was captured here, that we don't want that to be possessed by our students on school grounds. We also added a piece with prescription drugs as well, as you can see. Moving to the next slide. Again, we wanted to turn drugs to substances, update that term. There's some more wording and updates that we used in those sections as well if you review the policy. And then we also wanted to, under prohibited conduct, add that piece in red there with the intentional emotional harm piece. We thought it was important from our clinicians that were on this group. And then you'll see in the next slide, there is the link to the code of conduct that we're asking the public to provide comments to, that we will review. And you'll see that there is also a link to the actual plan there as well. And so we're asking the community to have input by August 4th so that we can have it reviewed by the board on August 5th.
Any questions from the board on the code of conduct?
Go ahead.
I just have one question. You mentioned in there the use of AI.
Yeah.
Is there any software, anything that can be used to check that the student used AI? Because, back when I was teaching, there was something for plagiarism, but is there something similar now?
So from a policy standpoint, we thought it was important to capture that.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
as far as what you're asking to me, I'm going to have to deflect to Ben August, who would probably have a much better answer to that as far as how do we track that type of technology.
Hi, Ben, sorry.
Hi. Would you like me to answer that question now?
You gotta come up.
Sorry, Ben.
Hi, everybody else. so sorry, I would have worn a shirt. Good evening, Ben August, Director of Technology, so happy to be here. The question was, as I understood it, the question was, are there tools available that could be used to help employees in the district to understand when students are using AI, whether with or without permission? And the answer is, tools exist, and the way that they work is that they analyze the sentence length and the regularity of the syllable distribution, and they perform statistical analysis to find out whether or not it matches what an AI or LLM model produces. The problem is that AI is designed to produce text that looks like a person's text. So when a student writes, no offense to our new ex officio board members, when a student writes average text, it matches what an artificial intelligence system produces. And the difficulty there is that these tools, when they work well, will lead a teacher to see that there's evidence of AI use when maybe actually the student was just, again, no offense, not very creative in what they wrote. So the sense in my department is that this technology is very new and evolving very rapidly, and it is not currently possible to determine with certainty whether or not it's being used or not. Unless, as we see sometimes, the students are not very clever about how they use the AI system, and they leave in, for example, like, thank you for asking me this question. I produced an essay. So it's not possible for a student who's deliberately trying to obscure the fact that they're using AI. It's not possible for a teacher to confidently say, I caught you red-handed.
So it's not like years ago, I would type in and it would show me where all the plagiarism came from. So now, I know, I'm sorry, I know this was supposed to be, for the safety. I just wanted to make sure, there's some, maybe you can get into it later, but there are some tactics that teachers can use to be able to turn around and see that some students are utilizing the AI. I know we talked about in policy, especially writing in the classroom so the teacher knows the different voices.
Right, I think it goes back to instructional choices more than technology enforcement, and there's a whole range of tools that a teacher might use to avoid the need to worry that the students are deliberately going around their expectations and using AI. That looks like collaborative group work, live assessments. There's a lot of different good, rich practices that our teachers are really experiencing using. And at some point in the future, it might be helpful to provide additional tools that they can use to enrich what they currently use. But we had a really robust discussion at the policy subcommittee. I think it was back in October, and while some boards in the region are looking at putting in place artificial intelligence specific board level policy, the sense at that subcommittee meeting was that if a student is misusing technology as part of the assessment in their classes, it becomes more of a code of conduct violation, an academic integrity problem, and it's not so much about the way that they're doing it. It's not the AI specifically, it's the fact that they understood the expectations and then they chose to deliberately try to go around them.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
And just as a follow-up, and I think that's why we wanted to leave the wording that we're suggesting, that it's not to be used unless permitted by the teacher, because there might be instances where AI is used in the classroom.
Oh, it can be used for a lot of learning objects and stuff, but I just wanted to make sure.
There's a couple other hands that went up.
Just a question, how will the comments be sent to the board about the code of conduct? Because I see the comments are due by August 4th. Are there directions somewhere for the community to go in, take a look, and provide comments?
Yes, so this link that we have here is also on the district website, correct, Ms. Lynn?
Okay.
Yes, and they can access it from the district website to put in the comments. It's a Google form that they'll complete.
Okay.
And then once it's all tallied up, it will be shared.
Okay.
And this is how we've done in prior years as well.
If we go into parents' sewer, it's just on the website.
Did we mail it? We could email it. We could send an email tomorrow with both documents and the links as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
That would be great.
Yeah, let's get that out. I don't think it was sent out to the full board.
I'm not sure. I have to
Yeah.
look back.
Okay.
We'll make sure to do it.
Yep, thanks. Thanks, Troy.
Excellent. So the next slide, we're going to focus on our district-wide safety plan, which again is similar to the code of conduct, has to be reviewed on an annual basis. One of the things that I chair is the Health and Safety Committee that is comprised of staff throughout our district as well as individuals throughout our community, from law enforcement, local business owners, parents, things of that nature, come together and we talk on a bi-monthly basis, every other month. And so the last 3 meetings, April 3rd, May 1st, and June 5th, we took the district-wide safety plan and we reviewed it as a community, page by page, as a committee, page by page. Again, we're going to briefly go over some of the suggestions, and if we move on to the next slide, you'll see that I've kind of just captured it in the pages, and this is also a linked document that we'll share with the community as well, where you'll actually see the changes made. So we updated our team members for the 25-26 school year. That's on page 3 and 4. State requirement update, what that is, it's a chart of steps that are required to be done by certain dates. So we updated that to reflect the 25-26 calendar. A big piece that we spent time on and the district has spent time on is the extreme heat conditions. What we're going to do as a district in the event that it gets to 82 degrees and then it gets higher. I will say, as a side note, we had an opportunity last week to identify hot spots throughout the district when we had that heat wave. So we took that advantage of that, and so that we can kind of identify where our hot spots are and address those prior to the 25-26 school year. So I give Tim Walsh and his crew credit on putting that together. And then we'll also see that Brighter Security is now known as Allied Security, so we updated the name of that in the safety plan as well. And then there's a couple use of wording updates throughout the document. So if we move on to the last page here, similar to the code of conduct, there is a link that's a Google form for public comments. We're asking that all comments after reviewing our district-wide safety plan the form is completed by August 4th so that we can share it with the board on August 5th. I think it's important to note too that this is the only document that is public when it comes to safety plans. We have building plans that are kept confidential, that are particular to each of the buildings, and that's not for public comment or public's, to see it. Okay. Any questions with this?
Any questions?
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, Troy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we have our public comment portion right now. We have several members out in the audience over there. Would you like to come up, on the agenda items, comments on agenda items? Anybody? Going once? Going twice? Okay. No comments on agenda items. Okay, we're gonna fly over to new business. Bond resolution. This is for the purchase of the various school buses that was approved by the voters back in May. Can I get a motion to approve?
So, second.
Moved, I think it was Chris and Kyle, kind of a tie, and then Ben on the second. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion? Okay, very good. Okay, and now, here we have donation from the Lakeview PTO. Resolve, the Board of Education hereby accepts a donation from the Lakeview PTO in the amount of $1,000 for a class trip to Kiwi Day Camp. I hope this is read. Motion to accept?
Second.
So Trustee McCracken, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Consent agenda. Everybody had an opportunity to review the consent agenda for this evening. Can I get a motion to accept tonight's consent agenda?
So moved?
comments right now? Do we have anybody for resident comments? This is open for, open season right now. Doesn't have to be on consent agenda items, can be wide open. Anybody? Okay. That's the case. We'll be closing the public portion of the meeting. I'm asking right now for a motion to go into executive session for discussion of superintendent performance and contract. Can I get a motion for executive session, please?
Excuse me, can I, point of order. So, can you expand upon that? Oh, I guess you can, so I'm gonna ask the question, Mike. So, we just gave the superintendent an evaluation, which was sent to her. So, we've been in the new year for, I don't know, 18 hours, 20 hours? So, I'm not sure what performance we're evaluating.
And contract. So can I get a motion to go into executive session?
So,
Lucy, can I get a second?
Second.
Chris Harrigan? Roll call vote. Chris?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Ben?
No.
Tanner? Lucy?
yes.
No.
Jen? No? Nicole? Okay, that's fine. And mine, fine, yeah. Okay, yeah, motion to go into executive. We will not take any, there won't be any voting in executive session, and we'll close the,
Hold on, I got another point. So, in the consent agenda, there is a TBD on the clerk. Can we have some discussion at a future meeting about the posting?
at a future meeting.
I would love to do it now, but we're already about to get out of here.
Yeah.
So I think we should post it as soon as possible.
Okay, well, we'll get to it. Thank you, Matt.
Do we
Okay.
have somebody for the meeting or no? Are we appointing somebody?
Yeah, I need a pro temp for the meeting. Can I get a, for the,
We don't take minutes in executive.
We don't take
You
that.
have to
There are
take
no minutes in
opening and
there
closing
are
times.
no minutes taken in executive session, with one exception if the board is considering charges under 3020A of the education. law.
okay,
That's
all right.
Can I-
Okay,
No,
that's fine.
Can I make a motion that our attorney be present during executive? I'm making a motion to have our attorney present during executive.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, no problem. Okay. All in favor of Dan being president and executive?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Closing the meeting from executive session?
Yeah, we're gonna close from executive session. Thank you very much.
Did you take the motion from executive session?
I did.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, one and all.